I take my Mickey ears very seriously. My husband might say too seriously. So I have picked up a few little tips and tricks over the years that I think might be helpful to you all, so here are my Mickey ears tips, tricks, and hacks. First of all, I like to have ears that match every single outfit. I know some people are perfectly fine to pick up a pair of Ariel ears and they will wear them the entire trip with whatever they're wearing, and that is perfectly fine. You do you, especially at Disney. But I'm one of those people that cannot stand to wear things that are not perfectly matching. I blame it on way too many color theory classes in college. So one thing to keep in mind is to either plan a bunch of outfits that will go with specific ears, so you have to take fewer ears on your trip, or find some ears that will go with a wide variety of different outfits. One way to do that is to stick with a very neutral pair of ears. For instance, I've recently just made these very blingy ones for myself. I'm super excited about them, but since they're just silver, they'll go with so many different outfits. They would go perfectly fine with this BB-8 shirt, for instance. I mean, Star Wars, bling, why not? I don't know, I think bling goes with everything. So having some neutral ears is always a good bet. I have a pair of silver ones that were one of my first pair of ears that I ever made for myself, and way before I actually went onto Etsy and was selling ears, and I have worn the heck out of those ears because they go with everything. So I highly recommend that everybody picks up one neutral pair of ears, whether it's black or silver or what have you, something that will go with a lot of different Disney outfits. Another option is to have a pair of ears that are actually interchangeable, that you can change part of them out so that they will match a bunch of different outfits. For instance, I made these glow-in-the-dark ears last year for one trip when I knew specifically that our main goal was to actually stay for fireworks one night, because usually we're more like rope drop people and we don't make it to the fireworks often. So since I knew I was going to be in the park at night, I really wanted to have those glow-in-the-dark ones for that evening fun. The great thing about these ears is that the ears aren't actually attached. It's just a bow on a headband with a couple little adapters attached, and then I have a whole bunch of different glow sticks in all these different colors, so I can change them out to be different colors, and I can reuse this over and over again and have different glow colors depending on what I'm wearing or just what my mood is that day. Another option is where the ears stay the same, but the bow changes. For instance, I have this pair of plain black wire ears, and the bows actually interchange, and I have made myself probably a dozen different bows for this over the years. They're always a little bit different. I have like every color, I have different prints. If I have an outfit that I know I really want to wear that outfit, but I don't have ears that match them at all, which is getting a little more rare, I just make a bow that matches that outfit and take these with me. In fact, I take these on pretty much every trip with a variety of bows just in case, because unsurprisingly, I have been known to pick up some really cool Disney merch on a trip, and if I am not knowing what I'm going to buy in advance, I probably didn't pack matching ears. So having these with some nondescript, just very solid color bows increases my chances of having matching ears, or worst case, I break out my neutrals. Nowadays for me, having ears that match an outfit aren't the problem. The problem is getting all the different ears that I want to wear to Florida, because I live in Pennsylvania, so even though we go to the parks pretty regularly, I'm not local, so everything that I want to wear I obviously have to pack and fly down with it. But it was really hard to find any sort of a container to put them in that didn't take up way too much space in a suitcase, but that would keep all of my ears secure. And then I found these little cases. They're meant for like scrapbook paper or like vinyl if you have like a Cricut or a Silhouette or something. So they are 12 by 12 inches. They're meant to hold those large sheets of paper and vinyl, so they hold the ears very well. They're normally under $10, but I have on a regular basis seen them go on sale. In fact, just recently they were only $5 at Michael's, so that was a real bargain. But I love these cases. I have a bunch of them in several different colors that I use for my Cricut vinyl anyway, and then when I'm going to be going to Disney, I just take one of them and load it up with the ears. They're made of a fairly thick plastic, so I'm not worried about them getting super smushed if I check it in my baggage. I know it's going to all arrive at Disney and be perfectly secure. So now I've made it to the parks and I have a lot of ears that are going to match every outfit, and they're all safe and secure, and they've made it down and they haven't gotten messed up. Fabulous. Now I can wear them into the parks, no problem. Mostly. First of all, there are times you're not going to want to wear your ears in the park. For instance, a lot of the rides. Anything remotely active, I take my ears off, even if the actual cast members don't actually suggest it necessarily. For instance, on Space Mountain, there's a whole video and thing where they actually tell you to take off your ears. Whereas with, say, Pirates of the Caribbean, I've never had that suggested to me, but I have gone down that drop before and my ears ended up on the laps of the people behind me. So definitely any sort of remotely active ride, I suggest taking your ears off so you don't lose them. But what do you do with your ears when you're on the ride? If you are on, say, Pirates, it's no big deal to take them off and just hold them in your lap. No big deal, simple, they're out of the way, and they're secure because you're holding onto them, right? No problem. What about some of the more active rides, like say Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Space Mountain? I don't want to be holding on to my ears usually because either I'm trying to take pictures on some rides, or they're going to have the ride picture and I don't want to have my ears awkwardly held in my hands. So you want to stash them away somewhere, at least then too, you're not worried about accidentally losing your grip on it mid-ride and losing them anyway. Well, a lot of the rides have those little sort of elastic net pouches, and you're actually even advised to put things like your ears in them. I'm going to tell you right now, do not trust the little elastic pouches. Some of those pouches are older than I am, I swear, and the elastic has lost all of its give and return. So they are not super secure. In fact, the whole reason I have these rose gold ears when I make my own ears, so why would I have purchased them? I didn't purchase these. I was wearing a pair of my very own, and they were brand new Ariel ears. I had just made them. It was the first time I'd worn them in the parks. I loved them. They were seashell shaped, they had pearls all over them, they glowed in the dark, they were amazing ears. I got on Space Mountain, I put them in the little elastic pouch, and I even made sure to really put them down in. They weren't just lightly in. All of the actual ears were down inside the pouch. They were as secure as I could make them in that little pouch. I go to get off the ride, look down, gone. So my husband is trying to figure out, he's like, what's wrong? Let's go, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I lost my ears, they were in the pouch, they're not there. And a cast member came up, and after a brief conversation, he gave me a coupon for some free ears from the store. So I'm guessing it happens fairly regularly because he did not seem at all surprised by it. So do not trust the pouches. I also would not count on saying, oh, I lost my ears, and getting a coupon for free ones. You just never know. That's sort of a little extra magic that might happen. So to be sure that you keep your ears, what do you do with them when you don't want to hold on to them? I use my park bag. If I'm carrying one of my bigger park bags, or my husband is right in front of me in line, sometimes I'll just unzip his and stick my whole ear down completely in his bag and zip it back up. Sometimes that is not a good option. He's either not with me at that exact second, or his bag is full of other things at the time, or whatever, and I have in my own little tiny bag not quite as much space. But even in these little mini backpacks, there's usually plenty of room. I unzip the main compartment, I stick the ears down in as far as they will go, and I squish the zippers up as close to the ears as I can get them, and that's usually pretty safe. But if you're really worried, you can stick one ear all the way in. I can't always fit the entire set in because of stuff that's in it. Usually there's one ear sticking out, but if that one ear is sticking out, you can just zip it up to that ear, and it's going to sort of anchor it in place. It's going to take an awful lot to get that out of there. I haven't yet to find a ride that this wasn't sufficient. So be sure, if you have a small park bag or a little purse or something, make sure that you put the ears in so that one ear is sticking out and zip up to the narrower part of the ear. I know that probably seems pretty common sense, but just in case, this way I don't have to hold it during the entire ride. It's just in my bag that I can put down at my feet with, like, I usually stick like a leg through a strap or something just to be safe. Much more secure than the little elastic pouches. Definitely would not trust those. This is a much better option for me. So now you have gotten your ears to the park and you have kept them secure during rides, so now you're free to wear them all day and it's going to be perfectly fine and magical and wonderful, right? Not necessarily. For one thing, the park purchased ears like these, I don't find them as comfortable. I feel like the headbands are always hard and tight and uncomfortable. Like, even for the filming of this video, it's starting to pinch me right down here. It pokes in where it's hard, but yet it's loose right up in here. So it's not that the headband itself is super duper tight on me, it just hits in weird places and is hard and leaves me feeling uncomfortable. So for instance, these ears, I only wear them when I know I'm going to have a partial day in the park and I know I'm not going to be wearing them all day because I know they will kill me after a full day. Now, I have heard that before you go to the parks, what you can do is you can roll up towels or clothing or blanket or something, or a stuffed animal perhaps, something that you can put the ears over that is way bigger than your head is going to be. Then you can supposedly set these on that rolled up blanket or whatever, and if you leave it overnight or something, it's supposed to stretch it out. I don't honestly see that really working too well alone. I feel like they're still going to just want to pop right back. Plastic headbands like this, they're made out of a pretty heavy-duty plastic usually. They usually take a little more training than that. You could potentially try the same thing, but maybe heat it up a little bit with a blow dryer. Make sure you're not going to be melting any hot glue or anything. You don't want them to get too hot, but if you get it kind of warm and then stretch it out and put it on something, maybe that will help. And make sure that you leave it on there for a good long while and it is completely cooled, and then hopefully when you take it off, it will be trained to hold out a little bit looser. I personally don't see it being a super big help, but it might help you, and that's all that matters. I hope that will work for you. If you don't buy your ears on property and you didn't make them yourself so you could choose your own headband, they're going to come on a variety of different types of headbands made of a whole bunch of different materials. If the headband is metal, for instance, this one is a thin metal headband. It's covered in some satin, so it's harder for you to see, but it is a thin metal headband. I've had some also that are completely uncovered and you can see just the shiny metal. I've had them before that a specific place will be a little bit too tight and it will be poking me and not terribly comfortable. It's really easy. You can take with your hands and you can bend it out where it's too tight to loosen it, or bend it in if you want to make it a little bit tighter in a certain place. If the metal's too stiff and just your hands aren't working, then you can use like some vice grips or some needle noses or something to grip onto it better and really give it a good yank. I would try a little bit pressure at first and just gradually work your way up. You don't want to completely mangle the headband, obviously, but I have had that work to great success where a headband that was getting very uncomfortable because it was hitting in a certain spot and it was too tight there, just a little bit of bending, getting it just a little bit looser was miraculous. So much more comfortable. One thing I like about when the headband is very, very narrow like these, as opposed to the park bands or even some of the ones I make for myself, these are very wide and they definitely just sort of have to stick out on the sides of my head. But these narrow ones, I can actually put them on sliding the headband itself down underneath some of my hair, and then that's small enough that it's not going to really mess my hair up, but that little bit of extra layer of the hair over the headband masks the slightly less cute portion of the headband usually, but also will help to sort of hold the headband in place and be a little more secure throughout the day. So regularly I put the headband just where I would be normally, and then I just slide it underneath my hair, and as you can see, it's completely covered the headband here on either side, and it's nice, just got that little extra layer of protection, and it's going to move a lot less, whereas if I just put it on over top, there's nothing anchoring it in place, so even like a good strong breeze will knock them off. So there's some of my simple Mickey ear tip, tricks, and hacks. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please like down below and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell for notifications. I upload a new video every Monday and Thursday. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next time.